Hello, folks. I greet you. We're back again on BrisCon TV. Time to pry into the world of Citizen Jones. Uh, Today, what we do is simple. We interrogate issues that come our way, uh, just so we know. Give context to the issues, just so you understand. So today, drug and substance abuse, Nigeria's public enemy number one. You will not understand. Let's go like this. If you recall, in his first coming as in 1984 as a military country head, late President Muhammadu Buhari, then a major general who ruled by decree, had three young men: Bernard Ogedegbe, Lawal Akoni Ojolakwe, and Bartholomew Owo, brother of Nollywood actor Nkemowo, executed by firing squad. That was on April 10, 1985. The offenses committed were between April and May 1984. What offense are we talking about? Uh, Drug, cocaine, and heroin peddling. Now, of course, you recall that the fearful decree number 20 was in motion. It, the decree had not been enacted then. So the application of the law became a retroactive one. It split opinion violently and harshly in the country. Then we were only a transit point in the nefarious trade of drug trafficking. But today, about 40 years after, my country, your country, is a hub of drug and substance abuse. The alarm caused by Mkpuru, we cannot forget it. Mkpuru is an Igbo phrase that translates to seed of water. It's an addictive methamphetamine. What about Colorado, a synthetic drug, has other names like colos and just you name it. So drug and substance abuse is indeed Nigeria's public enemy number one. Let's go there. My conversationalist is a national and international affairs analyst, Comrade Murphy Abadan. Murphy, thank you for agreeing to be a part of this.
Thank you too. Good afternoon, viewers. It's nice to be here once more.
Yeah, so drug and substance abuse, you understand from the little prologue I shared.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. It's a very big challenge. You talked about the days of late former head of state, former president Muhammadu Buhari as a military head of state then, where it became an issue of national concern when some Nigerian young men, were executed, and even that execution also generated a lot of
Comments.
controversies.
Yeah. Yeah.
If I have to say controversies, a lot of people felt they ought not to have been executed under that particular decree, decree 20 that were executed, because at then somewhere of the opinion that that law was not effective as at that moment.
Was not in operation at the
Yes,
time.
so, but
As at the moment of the arrest.
yes, of the commission of
The
the
crime.
offense,
Mm.
but that is the difference between a military administration and a civil administration. In a military administration, most times obey before complaints.
The
And,
the, 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 the style is by fiat,
Yes,
executive order and
Executive
military order.
order. So
Yeah.
whatever the head of state says is a law on its own, but in a civil system, it is the opposite. The man is considered to be innocent until proven guilty
Mm.
by a competent court of law, and even at that, the suspect also has the opportunity to challenge whatever the decision of the lower court is until it gets to the apex court. So, but that being said, the issue here is the challenge of drug, not just the consumption, but
abuse,
abuse
drug and substance.
and substance. So
Yeah.
it was a challenge as far back as 1984, early 80s. Today, unfortunately, it has become a bigger challenge because I can tell you that there are more persons that have gone into drug than we had then. Today is
So one could say late President Buhari, then a Major General in '84, saw today, yesterday, in a manner of speaking. He saw far ahead into the future.
not necessarily
If you
so,
understand.
but as a head of state then, which is like the equivalent of a president today, one of his responsibility to also ensure that, of course, drug is a concern, it's an international concern.
Illicit drug.
drug, you know.
Yeah.
Illicit drug is of it's a concern to the entire world. And
Sorry, neither you nor I can forget the Colombian drug king, El Chapo. El Chapo, if you remember.
Yeah.
And recall that recently, before President Trump actually arrested President Maduro and the wife inside Venezuela, America started attacking suspected boats carrying drugs, illicit drugs into the US.
Yeah. And before you interjected, I was trying to see of a major concern to almost the entire, particularly the Western world, is it has become a major economic setback. One of the major problems countries like the US, the UK, and most European countries are facing today economically is the consumption of illicit drug by their citizens. UK, for instance, of course, some persons may see that has also become more like a blessing to the to Nigerians and Africans who now go to the UK and get easily employed. What do they do in the UK? They get employed to manage drug victims of drug abuse. So that has become an employment source for blacks. But that beside, that is not the topic for today. The point is that it's costing the America and the British government hell of their resources to manage these persons. Sometimes they get rehabilitated, they go back to drug, they get rehabilitated again, they go back. At that point, they're not working. For those young ones who
are not useful
to be in school,
not useful to themselves.
Yeah, who ought to be in school, they are not in school, they are not working, they are not useful to self, they are not useful to society, they are not useful to parents. Rather, they become a burden to society, to parents, to the system itself.
Let's bring it back here. It's been proven that most of this insurgency, we're dealing with. The insurgency in my country is fueled by boys, young boys and men who consume these illegal substances.
I would even rather prefer when you say young people, because there are even young girls. When you say young boys and men, there are young girls that are involved in it. There are women who are involved in it. Terribly involved in it.
Drug abuse.
Yes. In fact,
I'm told that if you go to a rehab center, you understand.
As it is today, even in Lagos here, for every 3 young men that are involved in illicit drug consumption, there are 2 or 3 ladies involved in it.
Oh, really?
Yes. Go ahead.
The report names Lagos, Rivers, Abuja, and Kano as the centers.
Yes.
Prevalent.
Yes, those major centers. Otherwise, it has gone around the entire place. There's no place you go to in Nigeria where you don't have young people dealing with drugs. But for you to have the consumers, you must have those
illicit drugs and substances.
yes, those who are also the dealers. You cannot have the consumers if you don't have the
Well,
dealers.
obviously.
And the dealers are also, when I mean the dealers now, the marketers, the racketeers, those who move the substance from point A to point B, those who make it available to those who consume it. So it's a big challenge. And in almost 1 in every 3 homes today in Nigeria, particularly in Lagos, there is a child who ought to be in school,
but is not.
But is not in school due to drug consumption.
Illicit drugs.
Yes, I've had friends, I've had people within the neighborhood who ordinarily their children should be in one university or the other. Tell you, he gained admission, he followed bad boys, and this is the result. It's all over the. Then this also has a connection to criminality. Just like you have earlier mentioned, there's a link between illicit drug or substance consumption with criminality, prostitution, banditry, kidnapping, just name it.
And other vices.
Other vices. Call it pocket picking, call it whatever you call it. Just point a thief and look for that. You see that it's a illicit drug consumer. And
if many parents knew what their children were doing, they would choke.
Yes, then that also will now take me to the issue of parenting, which is also a contributory factor to this menace.
That's poor parenting.
Poor parenting, stroke zero parenting. There is poor parenting. There is even zero parenting. There's a situation where some children are just born into the society, and there are no parents anywhere to cater for them. So they grow on the streets. They call them street boys and girls. They go on the street. They survive on the street, and
they become streetwise at very small.
At a very small age.
Yeah.
The girls will just go into prostitution. The boys will go into criminality. They start by trying to
and in these crazy days, they become easy fries for terrorists to recruit.
Then as the girl grows and goes further into those activities, it's most likely majority of them get pregnant because they live a wayward life, in quotes now. They live a wayward life. They get pregnant. They give birth to children on the street again. So you have a girl child that was not parented ab initio,
You have
giving birth
a child giving birth to another child.
Yes, and a child who never had any after of parenting, now giving birth to another child. So what then happens? Then
tragedy.
Yeah, then you have a young man who is a drug addict, pregnanting such a lady, and they give birth to a child under that circumstance. You know what the result would be. Then you also at that juncture, you now discover that there is also the negative impact on productivity, because that young lady, that young man at that point, like we said, it's not useful to society, it's not useful to himself, it's not employable. It's not employable.
So the problem at that point is not a lack of employment. It's the problem is that of men and women who are not employable.
Yes. So it's a big challenge, and because for somebody who is into drug consumption, who hasn't gone to school, who hasn't learned a trade,
illicit drug,
it becomes a liability to self, a liability to everyone around him or her, and becomes a problem to the society and to the nation.
So that is the real enemy.
That is the biggest
enemy
of it. Or then to extend the conversation, you now see that these days, back then, there used to be just Indian hemp. When they say, this child is consuming illicit drug, the mind goes straight to Indian hemp,
Yeah.
which they locally call Igbo. You know, today they have varieties of them. In fact, some of these.
I hear Indian hemp does not put them on a high anymore.
No. It's in fact today for today's generation, Indian hemp is on the low. It's on the low. It's not strong enough to put them where they want
I
to
hear
be.
the new way to go is Kolos.
There is Golos.
Mm.
There is a Scottish. There is Kana.
Yeah.
There's Kana. There's a whole lot. You hear crazy names, and funny enough, DNDLE I hear is doing its best.
No,
It's doing its best.
the Marwa
Yes.
retired Brigadier Marwa is doing a yeoman's job at the
Yeah.
NDLE.
Yes, Mawa is doing his best, but then Mawa alone cannot do it all.
Oh yeah.
Mawa can be a good head. Then what happens after Mawa's office? What happens? Mawa cannot be in Akwa Ibom and being Warri and being Port Harcourt and being Kano at the same time. So there has to be others who work with him. How well are they doing? Because one major issue today, Jones, is that the drugs are available everywhere and affordable.
Mm.
That's a major challenge. It's available and affordable. Then again, no thanks to Yahoo. No thanks.
Okay.
I know you're going to be surprised that I'm connecting this.
Let's connect it.
Good. Back then,
For my knowledge.
as young men, Jones, we hardly have money. Any money that is found in your pocket is either given to you by your mom or by your dad, even as a university student.
Mm.
As a university student that you're already above 18, 19, 20, 22, 23, whatever. Any money that is found on you is either given to you by your mom or by your dad or somebody around.
Mm.
Today, you have young men in their early 20s, sometimes before 20, having access to huge sums of money, having access to millions of naira. You have young men in campus. Have you gone to our campuses recently where you see, in fact, in most campuses, they now have students car park, maybe unofficial student car parks. When we were in school,
They have upgraded.
yeah, when we were in school, you have lecturers car park. There's not like students car park. Today, you have students who drive into the campus with different cars. They are students, they have access to money, not just because their parents are rich, but because they are involved too in one illicit activity
Or the other.
So by the time there is excess money available to youths, what then happens? They begin to go into some of these abuse of substances and the rest of it. So, and Yahoo has made money available to youths of today. You see young men riding on Mercedes cars. They are still students. Some are still writing their jam to go to school. But they just press one or two buttons and there is money. Because don't forget, all over the world, drug abuse consumes money. That is why earlier before now in the Western world and even in Nigeria, it was mainly a problem for the rich. In fact, before now, illicit drug consumption was not a problem to poor man and his family household. Because if the parents don't have money, where will the children have money to go and buy drugs? But today, because the children of the poor now have money too, they now have cars, they now live large, they now have money to afford drugs. So that is a bigger challenge too.
Let me open another page here. In the Second Republic, I might sound a little old school. You don't blame me.
No, I wouldn't even go to court.
A colleague of ours used to present on the NTA network every Sunday.
Yeah, I remember
Frank
Olise.
He would start his program then at the time by asking the question, do you know where your daughter is? People would laugh.
Yeah.
But today that question is much more relevant than it was voiced over 40 years ago.
Yes.
Many parents couldn't care any less, what their children are doing or where they are at.
Yes, yes. And I can tell you also for a fact that it was better of then. Today, then parents cared to a reasonable extent, just that it became practically impossible for you to ascertain where your daughter was at every point in time. Today, we now have a category of parents,
Hmm.
like I said earlier, who were sometimes not even parented. Like we say in law that you can't stand something on nothing and expect it to stand. So you have people who were brought up. Uh, I'm I'm searching for a word to use. I don't want to sound too crude.
Hmm.
People who were brought up from those kind of
Backgrounds.
environment.
Yeah.
Now having to now bring others up. So you have people who don't even care where their daughters is. Today you have parents just when back then, if you bring a Bible that is not yours to your house,
You had questions to answer.
and after answering the questions, you are meant to return it to wherever.
Yeah.
If it's from your friends, please return it.
Mm.
Today we now have parents who don't care. We now have parents who also
Who look the other way.
yes, who look the other way and expect you and ask you, why didn't you make it 2 biros so you could give one to your younger brother? Why did you bring only one? Yes. Why did you bring back then, Jones? If you are in school, even as a university student, as a girl, your parents sent just you money. I remember back then they send you food stuff. They don't want you to laugh. Today, the fast game, what will not have parents relying on their female children in universities to send money and food items back home. We will not have parents who expect their male children in universities to send money back home. What do they do? It's of no interest to the parent. And when you have a child who is already surviving him or herself at the age of 16, 17, 18, how dare you ask him if he's consuming substance or not when he's already fending for himself and by extension fending for the family?
Let's begin to take the discussion home.
Good.
Now we have identified the enemy, public enemy number 1, drug and substance abuse. Is it too late to arrest the situation?
It is never too late to do what is right. What matters is to first of all, check the root cause of the problem, how the problem came in the first place, and how it eventually got to where we are. Then look for a way to cover it. And that at this point, I must say that it should be a concern for all, not just for the government and the NDLEA. It should be a concern for parents. Have a major role to play here. I agree. Government has all the instruments to curb crimes, but parents must play it, because if like those who go to church, they will say train up a child the way he should grow, and when he grows he won't depart from it. The foundation is key here. The way you raise
a solid foundation.
And Jones, let me even add, did you know one of that problem that I forgot to also add here? The issue of single parenting and sometimes no parenting. Single parenting, where drug consumers meet with drug consumers, they produce children, and sometimes they were never married, or they get separated, and the women don't also forget today we have association of baby mamas. We have ladies who are called baby mamas, and they are proud baby mothers, baby mamas,
they are proud to call themselves,
yes, and they are role model to some younger ladies. So a situation where you now have parents who are raising children without the presence of the other parents, and that they are being raised by their father, but most times by their mothers, who are also drug consumers. What do they impact on that child? So we must go back to the roots. We must begin to ensure that children are given uh, very sound and disciplined background, because the background, which is like the foundation,
Mm.
is key. Once the foundation is solid enough, they would hardly go astray. So parents must begin to take child raising
Mm.
to be a very serious business. I'm not talking about
All right.
giving them Quran to read. I'm not talking about giving them Bible to read. Talking about making them to understand that this is life and this is the way to go. And if you go the other way, you'll be hurted.
All right, we'll apply the brakes here, but not before thanking you, Comrade Murphy Abadoni. It's been said, dear viewer, drug and substance abuse remains Nigeria's public enemy number one. Not too late to arrest this situation. Thank you, Murphy, for your time.
It's my pleasure as always.
We are out of here. The issues won't stop coming, and we will not stop intervening. Bye bye now.